Hey, what's up guys? Derek and Bethany here for another episode of Derek and Bethany Reacts, where we react to real estate shows and movies about real estate and tell you if we think they're realistic or not.
Yeah, today we are watching Selling Sunset episode 7. That's why they call it Real Estress. Is that what
What's real Estress? Oh, that's literally what it says. Are you ready to watch the episode?
Yes.
About time. Here we go.
So I feel like maybe if you have any other listings or you come across anything else that you think I'd like, you can send it to Sean and then maybe we can see that.
Absolutely. I'll shoot him over to Sean.
Okay, perfect. I'll see you. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, nice to meet you. Bye.
All right, no one wants to hear that they didn't sell the house to the person they thought they were going to sell the house to. Quick note for any of you agents out there, don't count commissions until you close on the deal. Especially her, like she's like, oh, you know, I thought this was like an almost no-brainer. We were going to do some stuff with the house to try and make it work for you. Sure enough, that didn't work. And she just said no.
I gotta sell this house really quickly because I'm in hot water.
Ooh.
Okay.
Also to add on top of that commission, I've got to sell this house really quickly because I'm in hot water.
We've talked about that before.
You can't do that. You're now operating out of fear of not closing the sale or fear of losing the listing or fear of your broker being mad at you or whatever the fear is, you're now operating out of that, which is going to make it to where you might do something bad. Like you might operate in a way that you wouldn't ethically, or you know, you have to look at it from the outside looking in and say, it is what it is. We're going to move forward. We're going to make sure we get through this, but you can't operate in fear because then everything's just a slippery slope down.
But you're the developer, you can buy this and put your own style into it.
Perfect. I think it's going to cost between 1.3 and 1.5 to finish.
Yeah.
I know the listing price on it currently, it's too much money. You know, I think it needs to be in the 2.3 to 2.4 range to get a deal done, to make sure that the profit that I want to realize in this thing is realized.
So when you're going through walkthroughs like that with a developer or an investor who's looking to make a profit, that's why they're there. They're not there for any other reason. You're wanting to point out a lot of things that are going to help them make that determining decision of, am I going to buy this? Is it worth it or not? Those are going to be permits. Are the permits pulled? He even mentioned he was there 2 years ago and the permits weren't pulled and he knew he didn't want to go through that headache. And for the money, he was just like, this is just not worth it to me. So he backed off of it and now he happens to be back in the same spot. Another thing, he's probably adding in a little extra cost because it has clearly been sitting there for a few years now. That's a long time for a project to be sitting vacant like that. There's no telling what other things might have happened. If any water has gotten in from rain or anything like that, he might be factoring in a little bit more into his bottom line. I've talked about this before, I think on another episode where this specific house came in, was the after renovation value or after repair value. Basically, he just goes through his ARV. He would have already done it before here and come up with a number that makes sense, which is that 2.3, 2.4. Now for her, what I think is interesting, she said, well, we'll see what we can do. And he said, I don't want to be much higher than that. Okay, well, you're at 2.7 right now, and he wants 2.3 or 2.4.
It's pretty.
I mean, he could probably go up to 2.5 if it was me hearing what he's saying. Maybe meet in the middle at 2.55, I don't know. But just little things like that to pick up on as the agent or as the listing agent trying to sell a development is extremely crucial. And then again, for him, when he's looking at his ARV, does it make sense for me to do this? And now that the permits are pulled, that's huge. And she's already sent him the renderings that she just showed him. And the renderings are basically, what is the project potentially going to look like at the end? And he clearly liked it. So we're going to see if that one ends up happening later on.
And she talked about, you know, if you get in early enough, you can have a say in a lot of like what the end product is going to look like. So,
Correct.
That seemed appealing to him.
Yeah, I think that's important specifically because he might have had another vision in mind 2 years ago that he still wants to implement. And if he does, that's great. And there's nothing wrong with that because he's the one buying the property. They just do the renderings to give an idea of, hey, this is what this could look like. And I think you'd be the investor to make it look as good as this and put your own feel into it. So That part of the world is awesome.
Do you think these are okay to eat? Are they like staged food?
No, I think it's real.
Okay, it's real. This is a good idea though, to put fresh fruit out for open houses.
Yeah.
In Chinese culture, it's actually good luck.
Fruit?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
In open houses.
And
really?
number 8.
In a bowl, yeah. Why don't we do this?
I do. Yeah.
So she had some fresh fruit in that open house. I think some other things that you could do, maybe 3 different things that I would do in an open house is number 1, no matter what, you need to have your flyers, okay? I think that's huge. I think now that we're in 2021, it's also very important to have out either an iPad or a computer. I feel like an iPad's a little less evasive as far as somebody when they're like, see a computer, they're like, oh, this is their computer. I'm typing in my information. Oh, that's weird. So instead of that, an iPad or something that's easy for them to type, and it's literally a full, are you working with an agent? Because we need to know that so that we don't poach you and try to actually take you on as a client. That's super important. Number 2, are you looking to buy a house yourself or is this for someone else? How long is it before you want to buy? Is it 0 to 3, 3 to 6, or 6 to 12 months or longer? And then your name, phone number, and email address. That way we can follow up with you just to see how the open house went. Because if you have 10, 20 people into an open house at a time, you're not going to have time to talk to them. Tip number 3 would be have some type of fresh fruit or cookies or something. Cookies baking is always great because it smells phenomenal. So when you walk in, you're like, oh, this smells like home. You know what I mean?
There's actually, he's highly motivated, but this offer is not going to cut it. I think you know that. I hope you know that.
So you're going to call your client now and just kind of like at least present my offer and see what he says?
I will, yeah.
Because legally you have to present the offer.
She called out her own broker.
Can you tell him to take it and...
I wouldn't let him take it, but he wouldn't anyway.
All right, let's just stop here for just a second. So when you talk about negotiations, which is some of my favorite things in the world to do, that's genius. Like, no, he's not gonna take that. And what I love about her is that she's like, I don't care that he's not gonna take it. It's a starting point and you have to present the offer.
Yeah.
Which is great. This might be my favorite scene in this entire series.
She's good. I like her a lot.
I like that she's not like the other girls, and not to say that they're not like this, but they just don't seem to have that backbone that she does of, I don't really care. Like, you're gonna present it whether you want to or not. Here's what our offer is. Take it or leave it for now, and if you don't, and you wanna present something else back to us and counter us, sounds great.
Yeah.
But I love that she's like that. That's awesome to me. Mm-hmm. And then for him, he said he's not gonna say that. He's not gonna take it. You know, I'm not gonna let him take that.
Well, it's not really up to you.
It's not up to you, but what he's saying is, in a candid way is, hey, look, I'm looking out for my seller's best interest. I'm not just gonna tell him to take a price just to take it, right?
Right, so he will offer his probably professional opinion.
Correct. Which I can't wait to see it in 2 seconds.
And they can kind of go from there.
Bye, thanks. All right, so he got pretty close. 2575.
Called it.
You should
Good
work
job.
your client because it's a great offer. I mean,
It's not a great offer, but it's reasonable.
you know, it's close. I mean, if he's reasonable, he should take it. But I'm just saying.
All right, let me reach out.
2 things. Number 1, it's really interesting to see a broker-realtor relationship and to see, like, at the end of the day, you're both realtors, you're both representing your clients, and you both want the deal to happen, right? So when Brett was like, he was playing hardball, of course he was playing hardball, but at the same time, he wanted a deal to happen because he wants to sell the property and move on to the next one. At the end of the day, that's what we want to do as realtors. And then of course, we want to represent our client to the best of our abilities. But I think it's interesting to see that he says, I say we go for it. I think it's crucial that your realtor has a lot more say than most people might think. I think a lot of people think, oh, a realtor is just there to kind of facilitate and, you know, I'm just here. No, we have a lot of say so. Like, if we think it's a good deal, we're going to tell you we think it's a good deal. Your choice if you want to go for it or not. But for him to say, I think this is a good deal, even though the guy came down, but it was something reasonable for him clearly because he said, yeah, let's go for it. And the agent having and the broker having that relationship with him to say in a text message, I say we go for it, and he say, yeah, all done in a text, done. It's important also to note the relationship that you have with your client. I think that's imperative too, because if your client trusts you enough to have a quick text conversation about a $2.7 million property that you're listing, that's not sold for 3 years, 2 years or whatever it is, Super important. Do I think it's realistic or not? No, yeah, it's really
There was
realistic.
some realistic.
Of course it's realistic.
Yeah.
It's a show about real estate.
Yeah.
It is realistic. There are some things that we got out of this. To me, some of the things that I got out of it was the developer piece. When a developer looks into a property, what exactly they're looking at, which is their bottom line, their profit, their after renovation value is what they have to look at when they go through it.
We gave some open house tips.
Yep, open house tips on what to do in an open house, and then negotiations and what that looks like and why it's important. Oh, one thing I didn't note is it's also important to have those relationships as agents. So obviously they're a broker-agent relationship, whereas for us, like if we're in a deal with somebody that we may have never met, it's still good to be cordial with that person and be professional with that person. Although you're trying to get their seller or their buyer, whichever you represent, to come down on price or up on price or whatever, at the end of the day, you're still a professional and you're to act as such. And if you can have those relationships with those agents or brokers on the front end, it helps deals go a lot smoother and negotiations. So I don't know, I thought it was a really good one.
Me too.
Sweet. Guys, thanks for watching another episode of Derek and Bethany React. We really appreciate you every week coming in and watching these episodes. It really means a lot to us.
Yeah, if there are any shows or movies that you would like for us to react to, leave them in the comment section below. Bye.
See you guys.
Ribbit. Ribbit. Ribbit.
Trash.
Are you speaking to me?
Oh, snap.
Also, I want to say something.
Was it the gray shirt one? No, I think it was the green shirt one. My left nipple's higher than my right nipple.
Oh, I didn't do that.
Come here, give me yogurts. Look, if you don't talk to your dog like that, you're a liar.
Oh, sorry, you're gonna have to cut that out of scratch my underarm. Like that little piece. All right, go.
I don't know how you're gonna cut all of that, bud. He's
It's
like,
just a little snippet.
it's just a snippet.
I want to cut over to you so bad. That'd be great.
All right, we ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, well, smile or something.